Stevens, Southside City Council, place one.
Danny Garnett, Southside City Council, place 5.
I'm calling the quorum on the south side.
Two more. Do we have anybody else?
So glad to have all of you. What, ladies first. I'll wait. Sorry. You know, people question the order I had. I did ladies first, then I did alphabetical order when I posted pictures on.
I am Mayor Dana Snyder, and I'm running for office in 2020. I inherited a city that had been shaped for decades by different leadership. Day one, my goal has been to lead a city that is efficient, transparent, and grounded in service and results. Restoring focus. It was about moving away. And I'm proud to stand here today and say that we have done just that. We are now centered around the people of Southside and what they need. One of the first priorities as mayor when I took office was to strengthen public safety. We built a brand new state-of-the-art fire station. Employees that we could have 24/7 coverage. We also increased employees in the police and also prioritized training. These were not just investments, they were commitments. As conservatives, we know that good government starts with responsible financial leadership. We have made sure that we manage. We have become more transparent. We do consistent financial. I introduced a set of financial policies to the City Council. These financial policies put in place responsible monies. And these are restricted reserve monies. They also limit unnecessary for budgeting. These are not just standard good practices for other cities. They are the foundation for the strength, the future strength. Southside has seen significant growth over the past 4.5 years. We've welcomed Dollar Tree, Alpha Insurance, Southside Pediatrics, BMF Tire, Marketplace South, and we've also seen the expansion of Southside Hardware and to behavioral services. Most recently, we approved and currently we are working on the purchase of the Burton's grocery store property to bring another great business to the city of Southside. Businesses locate in the city of Southside because we created an environment that input from these businesses. Our main focus has been on critical infrastructure, and the most significant project on the horizon is the northbound Coosa River Bridge project. This is a project that's not just for convenience in travel. It is and our students, and it is also for long-term economic development. Through strong relationships with our local, state, and federal government, We have moved this bridge from talk to action, with construction being scheduled for sometime in 2026. Drainage and city facilities. These are important in the city of Southside. Mayor, I knew that we needed to redo how the city operations were. We put in place, we implemented hiring policies that are based on qualifications, experience, and fit. We also created job. Department heads lead interviews, and we now have built a team of qualified employees who and support each other. They work hard, they work together, and they put this city first. They are the transparency and access matter. Upon taking office in 2020, we began live streaming. We also upgraded our website to make it more friendly. I believe leadership means listening with intention, showing up for community events. And I make it a point to show up for community events. I believe that leadership is about thinking about the next generation. Legacy. We have created many events in the city of Southside since 2020. Schools, and we also created the Mayor's Youth Council because the future depends on the values that we pass on. We now have a city that families feel supported, and our youth can look at the future of the city of Southside, a life there. Southside's not the same city years ago. It's growing, it's changing, and it needs leadership that is not afraid to push past resistance, do the things that need to be done, and stay focused on real results. My vision for the next 4 years is rooted in 5 clear goals. Continue to strengthen structure. Continue to attract and retain businesses. Maintain for every resident in the city of Southside. I believe in the work we've done. I believe in Southside, and I believe that together we can make things work and continue the vision moving forward. We need strong leaders. I served on the city council from 2016 to 2020. I have 25 years experience in the legal field. I have 15 years experience, hands-on experience in municipal government, and 5 of those as the mayor. Look for experience, proven leadership with real results. On elect Mayor Dana Snyder as your Southside. Thank you for your time, your trust, and your continued support.
The floor is yours, sir. Thank you, Mayor. I am Dan Childs, and let me tell you a little bit about who I am. Apprenticeship right here in Rainbow City at Alabama 2 and I. Went to Goodyear in their engineering department and spent there 32 years. Moved to Southside, like I said, in '69. I actually moved to Gadsden area. Yeah, 57. I'm sorry. Get my numbers right. and we were making parts mainly for the C-5A airplane. We had a subcontract aircraft, and one of my jobs was machining hinges, they're doing that. But got involved with the city of Southside and got elected to city council. 62, and I'm sorry, I'm wrong, 72. I'm 72, and got, and then a lot was accomplished at that time. Back then we had one fire on the south side, and Mayor Harris asked me to if I would serve on the fire department, and I agreed to do that. One of the very first calls we had was down Ed's Corner, and the call came out. By then it came out on telephone, and the call said we got a fire where Red, and that was a start with the fire department. And while serving on the fire department, and like I said, in 72, I did run, and we started a fire medic program, the first volunteer fire medic program in ETOWAH County. On that program, and at that time we were not only serving Southside, but we served Rainbow City and Ohatchee. And we built our own medic van at that time, and since then the fire department has. We got, like the mayor said, built a state-of-the-art fire station now, thanks to this current. And Southside's grown and continues to grow, but growth has to be. But we need retail business, and we're getting retail, and we'll continue to get more. And the infrastructure in Southside, it needs improving. We have streets that were there before. They're narrow. It costs money to do all this stuff. And by and increasing the tax base, we can do those things. And another thing I have in mind is I'd like to see our library increase in size. We have a great library, there's great staff there, but they don't create more space at the community center. Well, I'd like the city come up with a plan with the ETOWAH County Board of Education by the gym that's behind City Hall, and that would open up a nice rec center. And there's plenty of rooms in there, would be big enough for senior activities. You could have, no matter what your age, whether you're playing little league ball or you're a senior adult. And this would give a place for all ages. And the County Board of Education, maybe the original plan had the gym on the campus at the high school, and that would be a good place for that. 77 over to Pilgrim Crest Road, and that would open that property up in that area. Apartments or high-end condominium type housing. I'd like to see done is take care of drainage. We have serious drainage issues in Southside, and at the time it was built, maybe it was adequate, but now it continued to grow. It needs to be improved, and hope to get that done. I also support the new Southside northbound bridge, but plans that was presented to the people of Southside has some serious flaws. And one of those is that the people that live in the town would have to cross the river, go up highway south. And to me, that's not acceptable, especially on a safety issue, because of if there's a fire medic truck down there, or fire department, police, if they've got to go, it's just not the right thing to do to have to cross the river up the highway and U-turn to come back. That's another thing that, and I also is a great need, and that definitely needs to be done. I do want to leadership skills. While I was on the city council and served on the water board 28 years, and part of that time as chairman, the burden laid on my heart to do more ministry work. We came up with Samaritan's Purse. A lot of you are familiar with Samaritan's Purse and what they do, but they're actually all around the world. And I was on their site leadership team and got to travel around the world doing that. I do want to share one story. And one of the jobs we had was to restore houses that was destroyed. The house that we went to work on was one of the better houses in the community. And I was wondering, why are we working on this house? And come to find out that the lady that lived there, and anyway, I was up on a ladder with a gallon bucket of white paint in one hand and a paintbrush in the other. I landed out in the street, and when I got up, it looked like the police had come and made and anyway, the guy said, look, the next day. So I go to this place right there on the main street, and the lady, she said, I said, I'd like. I said, no, just 30 minutes, probably. She said, no, you two of them now. There's humor along skills through Samaritan's Purse, through my time on the Southside City Council and the Southside Water Board. We have great churches, we got a great school system there through the ETOWAH County Board of Education. We thank them for that and their service. All of those along the way but anyway, I do thank you. I am a candidate for mayor, and I would appreciate your vote on August 26th. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I just want to make sure everybody knew who I was. It's an putting on this event and all. This is not enough. We need to have a full I would like to ask each of the candidates, maybe at the senior building, about 30 days or no later than quorum, where the citizens can ask us for about an hour and a half, ask us questions that they're concerned, because we're not going to have that much time today. So I would like to, not necessarily a challenge, but I'd like to do that. And if maybe Kapow or somebody like that would take the reins, or anyone, Republican Party would like to do that, I would love to do that and participate that with you. So I would like, first of all, to say that. And then secondly, and I just want to make sure that you know who I am. Who's a retired school teacher after 40 years, and speaking, married this November the 8th, 40 years. And we have two sons who are handsome boys, who I have gorgeous daughter-in-laws, who have given me magnificent grandkids that are absolutely precious. And so we got Joel and Jen and Courtney, and of course the grandkids are my priority in life. We have Jake, 7 years old, as the oldest, who is the most kid of them all. If you don't believe me, you can ask him, he'll tell you. And then I have twin granddaughters, Sadie and Scarlett, who are the most precious, just the sweetest things, who love their pawpaw, but who are double drama. And then I have Jake, who is Pawpaw's boy, and he has a slight case of cerebral palsy, and but it does not stop him on anything. And everything he does, he has to have Pawpaw involved. And so, needless to say, when we have them on the weekend and have them, during times and all, he. You understand that? You've got grandkids, you understand. And then I have what I call the caboose. His name is Hunter, and he is 8 months old. His dad calls him Deuce because he's the second named after my youngest son. And of course, just to me, he's Hunter. So anyway, so that tells you a little bit about my family. We don't have enough time for me to tell you my vision. I would probably tell you about vision. But my vision is really, really, really simple for Southside. It's return on investment. Come out of Southside now. I look between the cities, what they have as far as range. And I don't want to be a Gadsden. I want us to be Southside. But I believe return on investment is very important. When you look at the difference between Rainbow City and 500 more residents in Rainbow City than there are Southside. But the difference, the return on investment, we deserve better than what we have in Southside. Just, I want to keep a bedroom community, but it's all about investment to be. The small businesses are the backbone. And we need and we deserve, as citizens of Southside, to have more. We deserve a full-service grocery store. Yes, we do. We deserve a bakery. We deserve seafood restaurants. Trampoline parks for the kids. There's all kinds of things. But in order to have those things in and all, we have to have return on investment so that we can do the things that we need to do for the residents. And the residents deserve that. So that's my vision. I want to keep the properties and buildings on Highway 77 where we can get for our citizens and for our city and all. So I've had people ask me all the time, why do you want to run? My Lord, why do you want to do that? Y'all laughing, y'all smiling. Nobody wants to do it. But I want to thank the ones who have chosen to put themselves forward, to run for re-election, to the seats that are up for grabs. We have every on the city council, mayor, we have people, at least 2 people running at every seat. To me, that says a lot. I don't know, I have my opinion what it tells me, but that says a lot. I think people want change. That's what I think. So when people, you just use a simple acronym. It's called CARE. C-A-R-E, CARE. The C stands for character. I'm honest, I'm dependable, I'm trustworthy, I'm transparent. My cell phone number. There's nobody that I know that runs for anything that gives their cell phone number. That's true transparency. Now, go to my website. You've got it's got my cell phone number on there. I got it. I'm transparent. That's character. That means that's who I am. I'm hardworking, dependable. That's character. A, ability. What ability do I have? For you, ever since that time we've been in ETOWAH County, I have been in multiple management situations, supervision situations and all. The most experience that I have is over the last 15 years as your county commissioner. All right? A $52+ million budget that I have to handle every single year. I have been the chairman now for the 3rd time since 2010. I have been that way. Before then, I worked in multiple situations as far as supervision and directors, over restaurants, and been a realtor and been in the car business. I literally have brings me to relationships that I have developed ever since I've been on the county commission. There is not a person I can't get a hold of, from the senators to the representatives, to Washington, to Montgomery, to the Alabama Commerce, to Governor Rogers, to Katie Britt, to Tommy Tuberville, to the heads of Alabama Power, Norfolk Southern. I could go on and on and on. I have those relationships and develop those relationships and know who I can get a hold of to be in Southside to get those relationships. And I think I'm very, very qualified for that. All right, so I've got to talk to you about my ability. I've talked to you about the relationships. The last thing is energy. Outrun me, including my 22-year-old who says he has a hard time keeping up with me. The bottom line is, you 24/7. I answer the phone all the time. It doesn't matter. Once again, 256-494-7. I'm available to you. And then finally, when you sit down and you vote and you're at that table, you have to ask yourself a couple questions. One is, do I think that Southside needs a positive change? If you think so, then you have to ask yourself another question. Remaining candidates, if you think we need change, who has the most experience, who has the better relationships,
1 minute,
and who has the desire and the vision that can lead you forward? It's Joey Statham, and I'm asking for your vote. If you go to joeystatham.com, you can see my vision in Statham for Southside Mayor. You can join my team. You can ask me any questions, comments. I literally was giving out signs on Father's Day. I want to work for you, and I appreciate your vote. Thank you very much, and y'all have a great afternoon and a great day. God bless.
We're now going to ask all three candidates to come here. Each of you take a microphone. We've got three right here. And let everybody just ask you questions. Just fire away. That's your opportunity. What are all the You'll be able to get all three of them together right now and get your questions answered.
What are each of your plans for improving our roads in Southside? What's your...
Well, as of right now, in 2022, we did a paving project that paved about 20 roads, repaved them. In 2024, 20 to 25 more roads. I think total paving project term has been about 50 roads, as well as the school parking lot for football. Board of Education on that. We have a paving list of about 15 roads right now to $2 million every other year to pave. It costs, saves us money to do it every other year instead of every single year. So paving is on its way for 2026.
And it's no fault of the administration. They were late. It was incorporated. But I'd like to see those roads widened. Well, that costs money. It takes those tax dollars to do that. And some of the business owners here will disagree with me, but probably they have to pay taxes as well, but they have to increase the price of whatever they're selling or what they're doing to pay those taxes.
10 years. I understand that question. I get it all the time. But it's about education. My wife, I've had to teach her and educate her on how taxes work, and most people don't. So, yes, I could say 5 cents And my wife will buy for a dime, a penny. She'll do anything, you know, but I have to outside, because this is the reality. If you save 5 cents and you put $30 in your tank, that's $1.50 savings to you. As roads not worth $1.50, because when you come there, you're gonna pay $1. Gives you in return is about $3 more for the city. And whatever city you buy your gas in, what business in, you are helping your city. So we have to educate our community, and that's part of my experience. I understand how that works and all. So you're actually not only saving or community $3 more in investments for roads. So that's my take on. We need to get more educated and understand how our tax dollar actually works.
We our taxes from 9 cents to 10 cents. So that 1 cent increase, so much of 30% of that goes to a road paving account. So we've increased since 20. It's 1%. I mean, the whole thing was a 1 cent raise, and 30.
I'm not from Southside, but I use the community center frequently, and I love it. It's clean always, the staff's always friendly. But I have a question for y'all. Please define trash. Joey.
Garbage and trash, to me, there's no difference. I think what you're talking about is garbage that you actually do your household, and trash as far as the debris and stuff. Is that what you're talking about? Definition.
Well, trash might be an old piece of furniture you get rid of, or an appliance they need to get rid of. That's trash, along with leaves that need to get rid of. Of course, garbage is what you put in trash.
Okay, garbage is what goes. Mattresses, microwaves, things like that. That is called trash. Up by the city. Currently, we charge for that because we have to pay the landfill to take that to it. In prior administrations, they were dumping that stuff behind our sports complex. Brush and debris, we implemented that when we took over our own garbage, and that means that the debris truck comes around once a week, depending on what day your garbage runs. If your garbage runs on Monday, the first week of the month is when that brush and debris from your bushes, tree limbs that have fallen, and things like that.
Okay. Garbage is putrescible things. But now, the city of Gadsden has says you can put your trash, your debris, anything in every can. It's weird since we send it off to another city and they have to put it out, you know, in a transfer station. And trash is, y'all all got the trash right.
We received a grant for recycling trailer. Recycling, Rainbow City helped us out with that. They had a baler for that is saving on wear and tear on our garbage trucks. Also to the landfill. Our trailers are full almost every single day, and our park and rec. The trailers, I would have to look at those. I haven't looked at that. I believe they do.
For a long, long time, I don't know if they just didn't order them or what the deal was, but now I'm beginning to see them.
We received another grant to get our own baler, so we will no longer have to take our cardboard to Rainbow City. And they will start baling our own cardboard and doing that.
And I understand nobody's buying plastic.
Can we move on?
No, they're not.
Okay.
Something like that to generate tax money?
We have looked at property to do that. We have a lot of farmers, and we like our farmers, and we love that. Definitely something that we've talked about. Maybe some small tier 2, flyers coming there because we're between 59. But as far as industry, light industry, yes, major industry, no.
I agree, the people of Southside do not want any heavy industry in there. We do have light industry there already. We have one company, you wouldn't even know what they do or who they are. For the boating industry, and they're manufactured right there in Southside.
There's plenty of lots and there's plenty of buildings that are empty up along 77, and so there's plenty of opportunity. I've already, during this campaign, businesses that want to come to Southside, and they're just waiting for a positive change, and I'm anxious to get those.
What's your plans for the mayor's youth council to continue and grow it? It's the only one in our area that is.
Ladies first.
Well, we will continue that, and we'll start putting those applications out in August. And I have 2 juniors from last year, Hayden's one of them, who will be back next year on that mayor's youth council. So we'll try, this is, we ended up, I think, with 4 seniors and 2 juniors. And I think that was good to have a couple of those juniors there to be able to lead that group in the following years. So I kind of
Kids involved in government, to learn about government, how it operates, and I would be very supportive of continuing with the youth council.
I personally would like to. Single month, I'm going to be meeting with different entities. For example, I'm going to have a town hall meeting every quarter. Appointment to come see me, 256-494-7544. That's my cell phone number. Text if you. What I want to do is meet with local businesses once a quarter, and also to get their ideas for the future growth, because that's one thing that we need to really future. They are now. They are fixing to be. In fact, the seniors are already 18 years old and they can vote. So we've got to catch them early. We want to keep them here in Southside. We want them to be the leaders of Southside, and hopefully one day they will be the mayor, the city council of Southside, and not run off to somewhere else and do something for somebody else, because we want to keep those intelligent, smart, informed young folks in our community helping.
Mike and I had talks about him building a store in the city of Southside. It just wasn't feasible. I mean, we were coming off of COVID, that size store that they had planned on building. So we've kept in touch over the past few years. I've talked to other grocery stores over the past 3 years. Fresh Value, just different grocery stores that have contacted me or that I've contacted. Nobody wanted something to happen with the Burton's grocery store. So back earlier this year, I knew that Ms. let Mike know and his general manager Blake. We kept in touch, and they are ready to take over that store. Of course, we're still in the process of purchasing this.
For me, it starts over 25 years. When I was on a camping trip with Bill and Louise Johnson in South Texas, and her and Bill about building a store in Southside or coming to Southside. Louise Johnson looked at me and said, "Would you like to put a minute but I'll continue that relationship with them and to encourage." This hadn't been right, especially with the Burton store there. They didn't want to come in on top of them, but with the things where they've fallen into place now.
So I have a different take. I want Johnson's to be, instead of us being reactive, we should have been proactive. Restore for Southside. We've known that. I personally have talked to Mac myself. I've talked to others, the Gregersons and things. And I have been saying since November the 15th that we need another option. And everybody's known that. Came and they were not able to put a deal together because of cost and because of situation. And I know one time they walked away from the table over $200,000, which is. And when I say they walked away, I know the people involved, but they walked away. So the bottom line is we have not been proactive in getting something. We have to be proactive. We can't just sit back and situation because we have no grocery store. There are people for years have driven to another county, to another in ETOWAH County to get groceries. And then we have our seniors having to drive across, the bridge. And we have municipalities all over ETOWAH County, from Hoax Bluff to Glencoe to ETOWAH that have grocery stores that are half the size as we are. And that's what I am. I look for opportunities. I'm proactive. I'm a go-getter. That's working things out. But we got a long way to go in that process because there's 4 different entities involved. And I'm not sure we do, but there's a lot, just like the mayor said, there's a lot of things that have to be checked and a lot of boxes that have to be checked. And I hope and pray we can get that done. But I will tell you this, the next election, that's the mayor that's going to be able to get it done.
I want to ask about the bridge.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so if ALDOT says, hey, we're ready to build one of the two, do you say, go, green light, let's build, or are you going to say, let's hold off for something better? Because the other, so where are you at? Build it or wait for something better?
Senator, when I talked with ALDOT in Huntsville a couple of weeks ago, design review. So we're ready to go with the design that they are going to be reviewing.
I take the position, along with I think the majority of the people of Southside, it's going to be safe for Southside. And having to do a U-turn on Highway 77 to come back south, that is not a safe issue. With the school bus sometimes having to turn, U-turn, kind of first responders, delivery trucks, it is not a good situation. And I don't think, and I'm asking you, men in the legislature, get what Southside needs and the people of Southside deserve.
Involvement was it included Waffle House located Southside. I know they haven't relocated yet, but it's been announced that they're going.
Yes, many months ago, sometime last year, Shane Ham, who is running for city council, knew somebody that was coming into his store, talked with them about bringing Waffle House to Southside, looking in Rainbow City. And Shane, kind of steered them to me. Different properties, some of them were for sale, with for sale signs on them, some of them were not. But fairly good locations that they might choose from. In meetings with ALDOT, they told them they needed to choose a location that had a side road. So they began looking at that, and I know that Copperleaf was the one that had that property for sale. Yes, we had talks with them back last year, I want to say sometime July or August, Shane, maybe?
As for me, I'm gonna be a good customer. Look at me.
New construction on all the Waffle Houses because of the price of eggs. I said, we don't need eggs. We got plenty of eggs. We need the bacon, the toast, and the hash browns.
Okay, my involvement. The man that he does printing for all the Waffle Houses, and he was looking in Southside, and Shane mentioned to him, hey, why don't you look at Southside? You know, they're 77. He said that. I got involved because in August of 2020, them in negotiations and all, and I didn't know anything about it. Later on, once they decided to come in, they did their due diligence, and they decided, you know, to do surveys and things like this, and then the for Waffle House,
Robert.
His name is Richard. If you have a personal relationship with someone, you call them by their name. My real name is Joe. Sat down for 2 hours and we talked. He said, Commissioner Statham, I was told you were the man that had influence and that could get $100,000 worth of field dirt because of the location we're choosing. You know, Richard, my gracious, I can't do that, but I've got to figure out a way because I'm in a predicament. I'm running for mayor. Miss Snyder's the mayor. I'm a commissioner. I'm kind of between a rock and a hard place because, you know, I don't know how to go. I have not. Not saying that she hadn't spoken to me about it, but he told me no, sir. I said, have you talked with anybody, anyone in the city Southside about this property? He said, no, sir. $1,000 worth of field dirt. I said, yes, sir. I immediately went to work. I approve this letter and tell me if everything in this letter is correct, because I'm fixing to send this letter to the mayor and the city council. He looked at it. Is there anything untrue in this letter? He said, no. I said, okay. So I printed it off. I personally signed it. I delivered it to the mayor. Not me personally. I gave it to Cindy Bishop, city council. They went into executive sessions. All I can tell you. 2 weeks later, I called him and I said, hey, and that letter requested $100,000 for economic development to be given to the city. And it also said if there's anything I could do, such as give to municipalities, but I can't give to field dirt. Give the money back to the city. 2 weeks later, I called Richard and I said, have you heard anything? He said, I heard from the mayor 2 weeks ago that I was going to get a letter and what they were going to do. I said, is that all? He said, no. I said, have you called her back? He said, no, I don't have her number. I sent him her cell phone number. I've got the text message. I can show you. I sent her the cell phone number. Next day was a Tuesday. The city council voted giving them or approving them the $100,000. May help you out with road money. All you got to do is ask for it, and I'm willing to do it. So that's all I know about the situation. I'm sure her situation is true, and I'm sure Shane's is true, but that's my involvement, and that's what I know about it.
Well, he had talked to somebody on the property and had talked to our building department. So just wanted to clarify that we had talked.
Who actually can negotiate on behalf of the city? Because it seems everyone has been in talks with someone.
The mayor is the only one authorized to conduct business for the city.
Hey, I thank you guys for putting yourself out there and every one of our candidates, because Southside is a wonderful place. Our family has rentals, and we get so many blessed here in Etowah County. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Please leave a good tip for your waitress. They're good to let us have this room at no charge. Gil, you got a question?
Just Pat Martin, you know, the first.
Okay.
It's at 11:30, it's visitation, 12:30 is funeral. Gas.
Yeah, that's Congressman Martin. So, yes, Brother Mark.
I just wanted to point out too, you mentioned Senator Roy Smith, and how he started this so many years ago, but just want to point out too, we have a birthday.
That is fantastic. Oh, Brother Mark, while you're staying every breakfast with God Bless America, before we do that, next month we've got Sheriff Matt Gentry from Coleman's. We meet the third Saturday of every month. If you would lead us, God bless
Y'all
America.
stand with us as we close by singing God